Hello again, and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today, I'm going to talk about The Years of Decay by Overkill. And this is kind of the first or maybe the second time I've talked about Overkill. I did Under the Influence. That was maybe a couple years ago before I rebranded this series, this show, or some might say this program as I Want to Talk About This Album. I still call it I Love This Album. I did Under the Influence, Under the Influence, which is my favorite Overkill album. Speaking of Under the Influence, I'm stumbling. But I don't know, man. The Years of Decay is very, very close to me. It's a fantastic album. I think it's probably, I think it's considered Overkill's greatest moment. It's their, their Destroyer, their Nevermind, their Master of Puppets, their Rain and Blood. A lot of fans, I think Overkill fans would consider The Years of Decay as the high water mark, whatever that means for Overkill. The reason I'm talking about this one today is I got this months ago, and I've got a lot of records that, I'll get to at some point, and I have different motivations or reasonings or, for talking about whatever album I choose. I'm having a hard time talking today. Whatever album I choose to talk about, there's sometimes a reason for it. The reason I want to talk about Overkill today is I was, spurred on a little bit by an announcement earlier this week that, or maybe by the time you watched this, it was last week, that, Overkill, first of all, they're playing in Mexico next month. And I guess then that's the start of they're doing a tour through South America and maybe El Salvador and, some countries like that. And they announced the other day that bassist Didi Verney would not be joining him on this jaunt. I think some people call it a jaunt on this tour because he's recovering from surgery, and that kind of made me, motivated me to finally get to the Years of Decay. Now, I love Overkill. I especially love this era of Overkill. And to me, Didi Verney, God, what is wrong with me today? I think I talked about this when I did Under the Influence. He's maybe, for me, the best bassist in thrash metal. He's got just an incredible tone. His playing style, the bass is really kind of rumbly and, it's really in your face. I love Didi Verney's bass. And I was on the fence about going to see Overkill. I was leaning definitely towards not going to see them just because they're playing as part of a kind of a festival. It's Anthrax, Overkill, Death Angel. If you stop right there, that would be great. But then there's like 5 other bands that I don't care about. And of course it's expensive and it's an all-day thing. And I've talked before about how much I hate festivals. So I was thinking about going, and once I saw the news that Didi Verney was not going to be joining Overkill for this tour, I was 100% out, so I will not be going to it. It's pretty rare that I would make a decision like that based on one single band member. And I don't really care too much. Some people love to really, focus on the original lineup or whatever, and I don't really care about too much. To some extent I do. About original lineups, I'm more interested in good lineups or classic lineups, the lineups that I like. But Didi Verney, to me, he's a must. To me, now it's just Didi Verney and Bobby Blitz Ellsworth, who are an Overkill, and I guess they've had kind of a rotating cast of guitarists and drummers. But Didi Verney, he's a big part of Overkill's sound, and great live too. The couple times I saw Overkill live back in '80, I saw them twice in '88. I don't think I've seen them since. He was a great stage presence, and David Ellefson is filling in for him. And this is nothing against David Ellefson, but just Didi Verney, I think, can't be replaced. It's his band. I guess he and Blitz have been the only constant guys through Overkill's changes in lineups. They've been the only constants. And once Didi is gone, again, nothing against David Ellsworth, but it's got to be Didi Verney. So I will pass on seeing Overkill in Mexico City on sometime in the middle of April. So getting to this one, The Years of Decay, and I've got 2 versions of it. I've got this one here, the CD, and as mentioned, there's the record. I'll be reviewing the record today, not the CD. But I thought sometimes when I think of it, I go back and I show the CDs that I had. I guess this was one of the first CDs that I ever had. I used to always, I think I forgot sometimes, but I used to write the date when I bought, any individual CD. Now this record came out in 1989. I don't know when in 1989. I would guess later in the year. And it turns out that I bought this CD January 26th, 1990, and I got my first CD player for Christmas in 1989. So I got this just a month after I got my CD player. So this is one of my oldest CDs. And something interesting when I looked at this today, it's got, the credits, thank you to blah, 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 all these guys. And then you could add your name at the end, which of course I did with my incredibly poor penmanship. With that was my teenage signature, and it's also my 54-year-old man's signature. But there it is. So January 26, 1990 was when I got not under the influence, the years of decay. Did I say the years of decay at all? Have I been saying under the influence all this time? There's something really wrong with me today. Or maybe I didn't and I'm perfectly fine. But man, as I said, I love this album. It's almost perfect. For me, Under the Influence is perfect. This is almost perfect. It's everything that I like about thrash metal. I know a lot of people don't like Blitz or Bobby's voice, which I understand. I think he and Zetro, Steve Souza from Exodus, are almost like twins vocally. I love both of them. I love Exodus and I love Overkill, and I love both of their vocals. But I do understand that for some people, I've heard some people call Blitz that his vocals he sounds like a cartoon character, which I can see. I don't care, and I don't even necessarily agree. But I can see that some people would say that. But this album is great, and it is, for me, the best lineup of Overkill. They only did 2 albums. It was Blitz, Didi Verney, Bobby Gustafson, and Sid Falk. Those 4 only did these 2 albums, Under the Influence and The Years of Decay, and they are my favorite. So I guess by default, or some might say default, that's my favorite era of Overkill. Now here's the album again. And I was a little bit confused when I bought this a couple of months ago. I thought, did I have this on record? I don't remember having it on record, but if it came out in 1989, I got into Overkill in 1988 with Under the Influence. And oh my God, I was obsessed. One of the, I don't know how many albums there have been where I've been obsessed, but Under the Influence was one that I just couldn't stop listening to in the summer of '88. And I saw them on that tour. Nuclear Assault opened. That was at the Symphony Club in Toronto. And so when I saw this and I was going to buy it, I thought, did I ever have this on record? And I remembered that it came out in 1989. And I don't remember having it on record, but I thought, no, if I had it in '89, I must have got it on record. But now looking at the CD that I got in January 26, 1990, I think I never did have this record, only the CD. So kind of cool to have. And there they are. On the back, are they on? No, on the back of the CD, no frowning faces, just the song titles. So there it is. And here's the hype sticker. It says Overkill, The Years of Decay, the classic album, half speed mastered. Ooh, it must be really good. And pressed on red marble vinyl. A little bit strange. I don't know if Overkill redid all of their records, but Overkill is a green band, so I'm not sure why they put it on red vinyl, but there you go. If you like to watch it spin around and you like red, this is the album that you should get, even if you don't like the music. So I'll open this up now and talk about it. And I didn't see them on this tour, but as I said, I saw them twice in '88. I don't remember them coming to Toronto on this tour. I'm sure I would have seen it if they had, because I was really big into Overkill then, and I really wish I could see them again. I don't know how much longer they're going to be around, and I would like to see them again. They've played in Mexico a couple of times since I've lived here, but I don't know, things just haven't worked out. And I'm trying to open this without cutting the sleeve, the inner sleeve, and I have succeeded. So I can take this off, and I'll put it over here to my left. So there it is again, without the shine, and there it is again. Let me take a look here. All right, it's got the same picture as the as the inside of the CD. And I love this, man. It's classic. Just give me the lyrics and a picture. It used to be big in thrash metal back then to have, something like this instead of having one photo. They had a collage. It seemed that every band had collages of, every picture of every candid picture of them ever taken at parties and drunken with their friends. But Overkill went with this, at least for this album. So getting to this track by track. The first song is Time to Kill, and in classic thrash fashion from 80s thrash, it had kind of a slow build, or not a slow build up to it, but kind of like an introduction. Then this big kind of marching "Here We Come" intro into this great scream. Blitz just comes in with this amazing scream. And it's not thrash like fast, but it is very up tempo. And when I talked about Under the Influence, I think I talked about, I hope I did, how much Iron Maiden influence there was in Overkill. And there are a couple of songs on here. This one for sure, Time to Kill. There's a middle part. Time to Kill. That's I think pure Iron Maiden worship right there in Time to Kill. What's the first lyric? Violent indecision, surge of mass religion. Let me out of prison. I'm just killing time. Every time I turn around, I start to hear a familiar sound. Standing out as time stands still. Counting down as time stands still. Yes, I think it's time to kill. Time to kill. Time to kill. That's a great song. And then it slows down that kind of, I don't know if it's a bridge or what it is, but the unknowing, unseeing, revelation, unknowing, unseeing, that really slow part. Revelations unfold before your eyes. Repenting, relenting, repenting. And you're waiting, annihilating. Great song. Perfect song, I think. I think Time to Kill is fantastic. Next is Elimination. Elimination. What an all-time classic song this is. I think if this had been by, one of the other thrash bands, Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, this would have been like a real, as far as thrash metal could be. Elimination would have. Oh, and I didn't show the record. I forgot. Here's the red record. Red marble vinyl. It said there it is. Kind of a wine. I wouldn't call that red. I'd call that wine. All right. Oh my God. Elimination is just a classic thrash metal song. Terminal. What disease? You tell me too late. What's that coffin wheeze? Fatal. You're shitting me. A second opinion is what I need. Laughing at the windstorm and blowing all the corn stalks down. Crying at the funeral for my mail 6 feet underground. Elimination. Elimination. Contagious. Say why not just me starting to rot. Painful. Yeah, no. It couldn't be easy when I had to go. I'm hanging on my plug and I can't seem to get it loose. Pulling on the chain, your ideals stop. When you got nothing to lose. Elimination. Elimination. And that part, that little bridge between the chorus, elimination, and then the beginning of the following verses is just pure thrash. It's just super fast, pure thrashy. It's got that wailing, kind of like breaks or leads, similar to what Metallica song was like that. It was a Battery after the, I guess it was after the first chorus of Battery going into the second verse. Similar to that, but oh my God, Elimination is an all-time, should be, nobody ever really talks about it as one of the all-time great thrash songs. I think it's because it was Overkill and not one of those other bands, but I could never get enough of Elimination. I never got tired of it. That video got pretty heavy play on all the metal shows back then, and loved it. If I had just one more day, I'd turn it all around. I'd make a play at good, clean living and dig me out of the ground. And if I had just one more day, I'd say it to your face. I'd pull the plug on everyone. Eliminate this race. We want the cure and we want it now. Reissued hope. We don't care how. You're making a mess. Disease in a nation. Runaway train to elimination. Oh my God, what a song that is. Oh, And then I can't say it gets better, but it continues on about the same level. The next song is called "I Hate," and this is has a good. I love the song too. It's very punky attitude. I hate. I hate people that make you feel small. I hate having my back against the wall. You know, I hate being talked down to. I hate your rules. I hate them all. Hate being marked to take a fall. Planet's not big enough for me and you. But most of all, I hate you. So much trouble over me. Surrounded by jerks, can't you see? Smile to my face and I know you lied. I lost my mojo there. Knife in the back, another game. Knife in the back, another game. Rules, rules, rules. Not for me, you fucking fool. Open your mouth just one more time and my foot's going down. I Hate is full of attitude, full of venom, and it's a fantastic song. And next is Nothing to Die For. Again, these all four of these songs, and the next one is even better. Old Enough to Know Better, Too Young to Care. Bent on self-destruction, going nowhere. If I Had a Reason, Tried, It Didn't Work for Me. If I Had a Reason, It Wouldn't Be So Hard for Me. Feeling just the same, I'm feeling just no pain, not going down the drain, dun, dun, dun. And this has an awesome part. I sound like Chris Farley, talking about, that was awesome. But that middle part of Nothing to Die For, there's this really cool and very, very out of character, I think, for Overkill in this song, this great bass break that's kind of it's only 5, 6, 7 seconds, this kind of funky, groovy, plucky, slappy. I know it's not bass. I know Didi Vernon plays with the pick. If you know the song, you know the part I'm talking about. It seems very, very inappropriate for the song, but it somehow works. Nothing to Die For is just an incredible. And I should say also, this album, I think, and I even think Under the Influence as well, it's definitely thrash. It's thrashy. It's thrash metal. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. I was trying to do the Canadian accent. I can't do it anymore. I think they were they had a great groove to them that Metallica didn't have, and there's nothing wrong with that. Slayer, but I think even before Pantera, Overkill, I'm not saying Overkill were that kind of style of groove metal. They were definitely thrash metal, but they did have some grooves in there. Oh my God, and next, it's Playing with Spiders / Skull Crusher, and that's Skull SK. Sorry, Crusher with a K. Of course, Skull has SK. Skull Crusher with a K. This, I think, I'll put this down for a minute. I think, and Playing with Spiders is just this kind of weird, noodly kind of guitar, intro into Skull Crusher, which is the main song. This is an all-time pure thrash metal, heavy metal classic. Nobody, not that I know what everybody says or what they've said in the past, but I've never heard anybody say, everybody talks about Angel of Death or Master of Puppets, or obviously, these are big bands, but really start talking about how great Skull Crusher is. I would say it's for sure my favorite Overkill song. I think this should be not just my favorite song on the album. This should be considered an all-time heavy metal classic. It's 9 or 10, I think it's over 10 minutes, including the intro, Playing with Spiders. This has all the things I like. I've talked a lot about long songs, and sometimes, long songs are hit or miss. I talked recently about the last song on Bruce Dickinson's album, The Mandrake Project, that, it's kind of long, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's okay, but, I expected more. And what was the other song? It was an old Judas Priest song. I think it was the last song on Stained Class. I can't remember what it was. And it was also long. And the last song on Metallica's 72 Seasons is called Inamorata. I can't remember. But, and also, it was kind of disappointing. But Playing with Spiders / Skull Crusher, everything that's great about long songs, Faith No More, The Real Thing, Iron Maiden, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Led Zeppelin, How Many More Times, Master of Puppets. it has all the elements of that. It goes up and down, and it goes different places. It starts very, very slow. One of the heaviest things you'll ever hear, I think, is the first couple of minutes of Skull Crusher. It's got some, and then it speeds up at some point. That it's got, when it first comes in after the Playing with Spiders intro, it's got, I don't know if it's a motorcycle kind of revving in the background or if it's some kind of engine, but it adds to the heaviness of the guitar. Very, very Black Sabbath influenced, I'm sure. And then as Paul Stanley says, then it gets rough and it gets faster. 10,000, the part, 10,000 nightmares, 10,000 years, 10,000 marchers crying, 10 million tears. And it's fast and it's energetic. What is that part? All the thinking never done, all the murder, all the fun. Wash the blood from your hands, bury your secrets in the sand, and forget. Oh my God, that song is incredible. I can listen to that again and again and again. Just an incredible song. Really, if you're watching this, I know everybody, if they watch these videos, they watch the first 45 seconds, then maybe the last 30 seconds. So I know nobody's, except maybe Mike Pratt, listens to the meat of the episode. And probably if you are watching this, it's because you like Overkill and you don't need to be told. But I'll tell you, really, go listen to Playing with Spiders / Skull Crusher, because it's fucking awesome. It's so good. So that's the end of the first side. That first side, Time to Kill, Elimination, I Hate, Nothing to Die For, Playing with Spiders / Skull Crusher. As a side of an album, I'd put that up against anything. Any Metallica record, Slayer, Anthrax, probably better. I don't know if there's another Megadeth album for me that's as good as the first side of The Years of Decay. And then the second side, the first song is Birth of Tension. This has is this the one? Yeah, it has a cool riff, which reminds me of Ghosts of War by Slayer, the first song. Also on side 2. Maybe that's why it reminds me of it subconsciously, of South of Heaven. And then it gets, very fast, thrashy. Birth of Tension is a great, great song. Too much tension all around. I can never remember this part. Did you kill your father, sleep with your mother? Did you idolize your sister, jealous of your brother? Did you kick the dog? Were you beat with a strap? Were you really abused? Were you faking all that? So tense. Too tense. Birth of Fire continues with the greatness of The Years of Decay. Now the next two, it slows down a little bit. I like these songs, but these ones, and maybe it's because I think they're both around 8 minutes. Does it have the running time of them? Maybe no, it doesn't have. I think these next two songs, Who Tends the Fire and The Years of Decay, the title track, they're both in the 8, maybe 9 minute range. And to have those back to back, and then, if you consider that Birth of Tension separated those two from Playing with Spiders / Skull Crusher, that's 3 really long songs separated by one song. Maybe a little bit too much. So maybe the placement would have helped a little bit. But Who Tends the Fire? This is another one, as I mentioned. I can't say this has an Iron Maiden feel to it specifically, but it does have, I guess, like a new wave of British heavy. This is more like classic. It's not really thrash metal. Who Tends the Fire is more like classic heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal, as a matter of fact, I would say. The next song is The Years of Decay. This was classic for bands back then who used to write songs about, life on the road and the rigors of the road. This is out on this, and it's a little bit, it's not ballady, but it's kind of, you know what? Who Tends the Fire? Is it Who Tends the Fire? Yeah, Who Tends the Fire reminds me, the intro reminds me a little bit of Among the Living, the Anthrax song, not the album. It has that same tone to it. Not just the guitar tone, but the feel of the intro. The Years of Decay. Out on this road takes its toll, and you pay for everything you do. Under lights makes me blind. This place is the same as last night. Out of control takes its toll. It's like I said, it's about life on the road. And that one, it's a little bit too. It's actually, I would say it's my least favorite song in this album, but I still do like it. And then the last song is Evil Never Dies. Now this was printed, I think, as very clever E period, and then VUL, and then N period ever, and then D period eyes. Evil never dies, and if you spell it out, its end, I guess, because it's the last song. This is maybe the fastest Overkill song, maybe in their catalog. It reminds me a little bit of, well, later, many years later, Exodus has a song on Blood In, Blood Out called Food for the Worms. Just insanely fast, and that's what Evil Never Dies reminds me of. And that chorus is just so fast. Has it come? Then it awakens me. Then is it done? And will it ever die? Very thrashy. Will it go? Taking me. Don't you know? Evil never dies. Very fast, thrashy song that is. And this was not part of the back then Overkill. I think this was the first album where they didn't have the last song was Overkill 1. On the second album it was Overkill 2. Under the Influence was Overkill 3. There was no Overkill 4 on this. I think they went back to it on... Was Horoscope the next one after this? I know that one. No, Horoscope didn't have Bobby Gustafson. This was his last album. Bobby. So there it is. Really, I hate this overrated, underrated stuff like that. But I guess by definition or by the standards of that, I think this would be should be considered an underrated. Maybe Overlooked is a better album, but thrash fans really need to take a longer look at Overkill, especially maybe you younger fellas. Women, I don't know how many women are into Overkill, but really try to listen to this album, and it's just incredible. Although even not quite as good as Under the Influence. And I'm babbling, so this is the time for me to wrap it up, and I'll do it as I always do by pointing to it and then pointing to the camera and saying, "This is Overkill, the Years of Decay."